Hey guys, kind of a different video today. I already filmed a couple cooking videos, and when I watched them back, I just did not like them. Something about it just didn't look right to me, and I didn't feel comfortable uploading it, so I didn't. But I figured we could do something a little different. I've noticed that a lot of people have actually been knitting a lot during quarantine. I don't know, knitting or crocheting or anything to do with yarn, really. So I figured I'd make a video. I already have some projects that I've already started or projects that I have torn apart, so I'm going to show you those real quick. I am working on making my dad a blanket for Father's Day, and I like it. I mean, I put a lot of time into it, so it's not like he's not going to get it, but it's in June. So I kind of feel bad, like, oh hey, here's your Father's Day present. You won't be able to use it until October. But I'm working on that. This is one I already have done. Anybody who knows me knows I love Harry Potter, so this is a Hufflepuff scarf. So sorry. It's a Hufflepuff scarf. That's the house that I got sorted into. And it's also my old school colors. However, I do have a project I'm working on. My best friend's birthday is here in June. Not here in June, today's May. Or it's... What is today? Yeah, today's the 2nd of May. But she was sorted into Ravenclaw, so I am working on making her a Ravenclaw scarf. It was going to be a Quidditch sweater, but I got like halfway through it and I went to start the sleeves and it just did not look right. And I started that during Christmas. I don't know what I'm going to do for it this year. But we'll figure it out. And if she's watching this video, she probably already knew that I was going to make her something Harry Potter, so it's not that big of a surprise. Hey! I have also I've been attempting to make face masks with all this crap going on, and I could not get mine right. I got my parents' theirs right. It's just a little knit rectangle, and I can never get the ear parts right. I had them long enough to where if I had my hair up while we were in town, that I could just loop it around my bottom, around my low pony. Because if you put it behind your ears anymore, especially now they're starting to rub raw. My fiance has face masks that somebody that he works with made. His wife made them. And even though they're made of like cotton fabric, it's rubbing his ears raw, something awful. So he went on ahead and ordered us like the neck ones that go almost like a cowl scarf all the way around, and then you just hook it over your face. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be showing you guys how to do that. Although I do need to finish my dad's. And I took some extra fabric that I had, and I'm going to make like a little filter pouch. And I think that's big enough. If it's not, I can always take that little pouch out, but I'm still learning like everyone else. So, but yeah, if you want to stick around and watch me knit, you're more than welcome to. I am not a professional at this. I started when I was 16. I'm 21, going to be 22 here in August, and I'm still new to knitting on needles, so I tend to switch my hands a lot. If you don't know what that is, it's... Okay. I have a needle in my left hand and a needle in my right hand. I'll show you in the video. It's easier to show you when I actually have yarn. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so first things first, all you need is a pair of needles. So I have my US size 8, 5.0 millimeter boil knitting needles. You can use a stitch counter, which I don't have mine close to me, but it's almost like a little clicker, and it will tally up however many rows that you do. However, I have a bad tendency of listening to music while I knit, so I just jot mine down in the tally. So there's X amount of rows for blue, X amount of rows for gray, for blue again, and then gray again. This is a fairly, simple pattern. In my opinion it is, at least, but I'm not a beginner anymore. So, all you need to do, and I'm not going to cast on a lot, first thing you're going to do is take your yarn, leave, that big of a tail. This is what you are not going to knit with. This is what you are going to sew seams with whenever you are done, if you are working on a project that has seams. So, it's right there. And just tug a little more. And you're going to make what they call a cast on loop. So you just fold the yarn like that until there's a loop. Pull your working yarn, which is, this is your tail, this is your working yarn. You pull it through. And there you go. You slip in the needle and you pull it. See? You just made your first stitch. Unless, of course, you're working on a crochet pattern. I don't know how to crochet, so I can't, help you with that. I'm so sorry. So, what I did, I learned on WikiHow. All I did was take the working yarn, and I hooked it around the back of my thumb. And then I took my index finger and hooked it around the tail. And I pulled it until you make almost like a slingshot. Then you take the tip of your needle, go underneath, and like that. And there's your second stitch. So I'm going to cast on maybe about 3-4 more of these. I'll just go to 5. I'll do 5 more of these. So I already have 2. 3, 4, 5. And there you go. There's your 5 little stitches. And I'm going to put this needle into my left hand. In my right hand, I have the empty needle. Now what you're going to do is make sure that your tail is on the inside. Take your needle, put the tip through the back of it, hold it, wrap it. So I'm going from back to front and back, and hook and pull it through. Go through, wrap it, hook, and pull through. Once you get the hang of knitting with needles, it's not as difficult as people make it seem. It's more just trying to figure out, like, if you're somebody who's able to work both hands simultaneously, it's not that big of an issue. But if you're somebody who has trouble with using your left hand more than your right, or your right more than your left, then you are definitely going to have a little bit of a struggle. Now, I make my projects in what's called the garter stitch. So what I do is, where I have all my stitches on my right needle now, I switch those needles back over to my left hand, so all the stitches are on my left needle. Then I have my empty right needle, and I just do all that again. It's probably definitely not the correct way to do it. It's just the way that I got used to doing it. And it's just called turning your work. You just keep turning your work, so it's like you're just going in an inevitable circle. However, if you are somebody who knits on a knitting loom, I can show you that real quick. Sorry, I'm just going to finish this row real quick. And there we go. Okay, I have you guys down as far as my tripod will let me. So hopefully this angle can work for you. I'm going to be working on the inner circle of this right here, and I'm going to do it very quickly. So I just slipped my stitches off the blue needles so I can use the same yarn. And all you do, same as before, you make your loop. Here it goes. And you pick a peg. Right here is where I marked it. That is a little arrow pointing to this peg. And that's normally where you would start, from where I'm starting in the center so you can see it better. I'm just going to keep doing it that way. So you just loop that on to your peg, and then you wrap it. Now, by wrapping it, you can see it's like crisscrossed in the back here, and you have a single loop in the front of your peg. That is exactly what you're looking for. So just, wrap it. And you keep wrapping until you get to the number of pegs that you would like. So this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pegs. We'll do an even 8. And now what I normally do if I'm working in the middle of a loom, because this is a endless Afghan loom, so it's in the S shape. So there's the majority of the time with looms, unless you're working on a board loom, they won't have an end. They're just a continuing motion. So what you want to do, if you are making a small project on a loom, not on an Afghan loom, on a loom, you make your hook again, or your loop again, and you hook that around your final peg. And that works almost like an anchor for the rest of your project. You don't want to pull it too tight or else you're not going to be able to pull it over the peg. So just scooch those all down. They do feel a little tight, but from where I'm not working consistently on this loom, I'm just going to leave it. So you want to take your working yarn, wrap it from front to back, and you can go one peg at a time, or you can wrap the whole thing and then knit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the bottom yarn and your loom hook, you pick it up, and you pull it over the peg. Pick it up, pull it over. Pick it up, pull it over. Oops. It works better wrapping the yarn around the loom, or around the pegs, if you have like an old pen that you can take apart and feed the yarn through the hole in the pen. And there you go. That's all you need to do. And then you just repeat until your project is finished. Normally on a small pegged loom like this, you would need, this is size 4 worsened yarn. You might need something a little bulkier, so I would suggest going up to a size, I believe a size 5, 6, or even a 7. The thicker the yarn, the less likely there is to be holes in your project. That's the same with your knitting needles. The smaller your knitting needle and the smaller your yarn, the more dainty it's going to be. So like whenever people are working with lace, they will use very, very small needles. I think they go down to like a size 1, and they will work from there. I think I have size 1s. I know I have size 3s. But that's all you do. There you go. You've made your first stitches. Alright, now I am going to show you guys how to switch from one set of needles to another. I do have my yarn. I made this out of salt though, because I don't have any clay. If you're somebody who has a kiln or works a lot with pottery, I would suggest, if you would like to make your own, this is called a yarn bowl. And what you do is that you can take your ball of yarn, normally a ball, feed it through a hole that you leave, and whenever you pull the yarn, it will just roll around in there. Instead of, like, I have a cat, so instead of him chasing the ball around while it's on the floor and making a total mess, it will also help alleviate any knots that you have in your yarn, which is very common, especially if you've spun your own. So I have them on another set of size 8 needles. And this is my friend's scarf. This is the beginning of it. Her birthday's at the beginning of June. I need to hurry. For Mother's Day, I'm not really making my mom or my grandmother anything. Pardon. I'm not making them anything knit. I'm actually going to go and buy them some. My grandmother absolutely loves flowers, so I'm definitely going to buy her some flowers. And my mom, I don't know what I'm going to get my mom yet. I've been racking my brain for flowers because she also loves flowers, but I've also been racking my brain with whether or not I'm actually going to get her something edible, because I know she wants, like, sweet orange marmalade from Smucker's, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. But all we're going to do is take this work that's on here. Let me fix my light. There you go. You can see better now. Take the knitting needle, go under, wrap it front to back, pull through, and off. I'm also going to mark another tally onto my work. See that darker one? I just added that. So I am at 14 stitches now for this block of the project. So I have mine split into works of 30. These are 30 rows. Then there's 4 for gray, 4 for the blue, and 4 for the gray again, and then back to the 30 for the blue. If I'm moving too fast, you should be able to slow me down and be able to see this better, but I'm not 100% sure. And there you have it. You are now on your desired needle. So all I'm going to do is put that in the drawer. So I'm going to knit the other 31 stitches, and I will show you guys here in a minute how to cast it on, how to add color. Alright, now we are going to be switching colors. So we're going to be going from blue to gray. So I went on ahead and I have my gray ready in my yarn bowl. I went on ahead and snipped a tail from my blue working yarn. So all you do is take your empty needle, stick it through, take the color that you want, make sure the tail is on the outside, like those, and pull it through. And you want to make sure while you're knitting that you see where there's the little blue and gray line here? You want to make sure that's not on the front of your project. This is on the back. I don't believe it will show up if you work in a tube. So if you have circular needles or a round loom, it shouldn't show through. There you go. Now I'm knitting 4 rows of gray. And this is my first row. And that's it. It's pretty easy. At least for me it is. Now I know I am definitely not going to get this project done today. However, if you guys would like, I will give you updates on whenever I do get my projects finished. So I will finish that first row of gray, and that'll be it.